Good morning, everyone. Pastor Chris here. Welcome to Poolside Chat. I am going to answer a question I've not yet been asked. Today, January 28, 2026, marks 40 years since the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded, 73 seconds into launch. I remember it happened because I was 20, how old was I? 24 years old. I was, would have been working at St. Mary's Hospital in Richmond, Virginia. And I do remember that I was about ready to go to bed. I was working night shift. And what I would do is I would stay up until after lunch, go to bed, get up, go to work. And I've always been interested in space and aviation, always. I remember in elementary school as a kid, they would always roll the TVs into the classrooms so we could watch the Apollo launches. I remember that morning, I would have been watching TV and watching the shuttle lift off because it seemed like it had kind of become a little routine, but it was still exciting. And I remember the gut punch I felt when it exploded. Because even though I knew it wasn't routine, no flight is routine. It was a gut punch. And I remember, I want to say it was that day, it might have been the next day, I don't remember. President Reagan came on TV. And I remember watching his speech. We used to have the luxury of that. And he gave a really great speech to the nation. And he recited some phrases from a poem, High Flight. Every aviator knows this. I was given this as a placard by a friend of mine when I was flying ultralights. People know my love for aviation. Every Air Force Academy student memorizes this poem. It's kind of like an airman's poem, but there was a couple lines in there that President Reagan quoted in his speech. And I thought it'd be appropriate today, 40 years on, to share it with you. It's called High Flight. This is written actually by John Gillespie McGee. He was a Royal Canadian aviator, written in 1943. He was over in England. Interesting enough, he died a few months later in a training accident. Royal Canadian Air Force over flying in England. But he wrote this and sent it back to his family, and it's called High Flight. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of, wheeled and soared and swung, high in the sunlit silence, hovering there. I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark or ever eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mine I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God. Some people call that the airman's poem. High Flight. And two things I remember. from 40 years ago today. Watching it, the gut punch, and then President Reagan's speech at that time. And that's the line. That's where that comes from, the Airman's Poem. So, thanks for listening. God bless you all. And it was a memorable time, and I honor those people who flew that Challenger mission and those on whose shoulders they stand, who continue to fly. And reach those boundaries, break those boundaries today. Pastor Chris Ireland. Keep the questions coming. Saturday I'm getting to the one I was going to do today. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, at FL Compass Church. And now on Instagram, at FL Compass Church. Be blessed. Have a great week. We'll see you Saturday.